So I haven't been keeping up on my reading. Just for context, in the past year, I've been working in my field as a student librarian at one of my favorite academic institutions. And as a result of that, I've been, doing full-time work. I've picked up part-time work at another academic institution on weekends that I've been chipping away at. And yeah, I've got volunteer commitments. I have all these things, all these excuses, really, that are just saying, like, this is why I haven't been keeping up with the mountain of books that I've been, like, accumulating since my birthday, more or less. And it's not really an excuse. It's more or less just me looking for any sort of window. I guess, yeah, okay, it's an excuse. This is me sitting down going, hey, here is the stack, or a stack. It's not even all of them. These are the immediate ones that I want to get through in the last, because we are almost halfway through the year, and at this point I would have read like 30 books. I've read maybe 10. So this is my immediate TBR, and that's not to say if you follow me on Goodreads, you're going to see that I'm reading other books. Like, I think if you look in the background there, you'll see the Tea Dragon Society. It's the green box. It's the collector's box. I still have one more of those to get through, and they're like, all these books are amazing. I just have found myself wanting to craft or do handsy things, because when you're working as a librarian, or at least in my position where I've just started working as a librarian, I've kind of found that, like, when I'm learning new things every day and I'm involving so many books in my day-to-day, I'm kind of wanting to do other things when I get home, and that's totally fine. But I also love to read, and I love the art of publishing, and I love the art of the book, and I love going through, like, and having conversations with so many people and individuals in my life about, like, so what are you reading, and finding out, like, what's good, right? So I need to get these books done. I need to get them done by December. And yeah, so I'm gonna just start, I guess, because I haven't done this in a while. I'm gonna start with the nonfiction need to reads, and then move into the fiction need to reads, and then move into the farther fiction need to reads. There are 3 stacks on my desk, so let's go. First up, I have the copy of it sitting in my car because I've been taking it to and from work because I'm trying to power through it. It's a nonfiction account of Kate Beaton's time in the oil sands in Alberta, around, like, Fort Mac. It is super bleak, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very cathartic, and it's like, it allows for insight into a place where only my extended family had spent time. So yeah, it's a graphic novel, if you will. And next is a book that I picked up the other day on Greece. It is a series of, like, academic articles and magazine articles that are about contemporary issues in Greece. The reason why I want to read this is because I am going to Greece in the next little while. So we will, or at least I will, educate myself as much as I can about the country. I don't know exactly when I'm heading, but I know it is happening. It is going to probably be around my graduation time. So yeah, very excited. Next up is the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. Everyone loves a good John Green book. What's this doing in there? And yeah, it's a collection of articles. I know I can read it kind of asynchronously, so I will. I don't know if I'll read all the articles in this one, but I know I will read through a lot of the ones that are of the most interest to me. It was recommended to me by one of my professors back in the iSchool, and since re-recommended to me by several friends. It was gifted to me as a birthday present, so it's got to be read. Next is Charles Duhigg's Super Communicators, which basically talks about learning how to communicate more effectively, which I don't think is something I necessarily struggle with, but it is something that I know that I could always improve on. Even if it's just, like, learning how to compose an email better, or learning how to just have a basic interaction where it just goes a little smoother. Yeah, so Super Communicators, it's a new release that came out, I want to say, either this year at the tail end of last year. I'm very excited to read it. Yeah. So those are the nonfiction. There are a couple works that are, like, kind of like fiction, but they're, like, nonfiction inspired. So, like, some of them deal with like diaspora, or, like, conflicts in the Middle East, but they're mostly made into fiction. So I'll get into those later. So moving down the fiction train, which is much more fun and exciting and more my wheelhouse, is a book that I swore to myself I would power through, and then started working and was like, nah. So Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. I am a couple hundred pages in. I adored like the first book to this series, and the second book is like no exception. It's like fantastic, and it's really well done. And like me not having finished it yet is not a reflection of the quality of this book in any way, shape, or form. It's more or less just me being in a reading slump and needing to pull myself out of it. So what's really cool about this publication is that, and I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for doing this, but like, let me see if I can find one. It's like filled with illustrations. Like there's a beautiful one there. And it's just like, yeah, my husband's reading the audiobook of it, and he's like almost done, and he's like, you have to finish it, it's so good. And I'm like, yes, but like the fact that you're audiobooking it, you're missing all the lovely pictures that someone has put in. My only caveat or complaint, I guess, with this one is that I kind of wish that the illustrator's name would have been put on the cover, because when you're doing a book that is like heavily illustrated, like this one actually is, like it looks like there's like a quite a few pictures in this book that they would be credited as well, but on the cover at least, but that's okay. That's probably the publisher's decision and not anything to do with the author, so yeah. Next up is one that is kind of recommended to me by like circle of like, I don't know if I want to refer to them as like my reading club or just my reading support group. Is the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have what's it called? Something 6. Is it the Atlas 6 or something like this? I can't remember, but I have the audiobook of one of the other books in this. It's not really a series from what I understand. It's a collection of books that are kind of in the same world, and they involve the same characters and their lives and whatnot. And the audiobook that I have involves like a band that has gone through some sort of event. This one, I don't know. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo sounds very scandalous, and it sounds like a fun time, and it sounds like a light, easy read. So I'm hoping that that will give me some reprieve in between everything else I've been going through. So, yeah. Next is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. Last year, I read the entirety of the Wicked series, or Wicked trilogy. This one is her foray into adult literature. I believe the Wicked series is technically like considered young adult, even though there's a lot of adult themes in it. This one, yeah, more into the adult scene. I was really lucky that this was gifted to me with the autograph, with Carrie's autograph inside, so I'm like, it's already up there as like, this is a high priority read to me. It's been touched, it's been graced by the author, or at least a page of it has, because usually they take the page, they sign this single page, and then they put it in the book. But anyways, that's besides the point. Next is a book that was recommended to me by one of my colleagues, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I've kind of really fallen, since reading A Study in Drowning, I've really gone deep into the like dark academia scene, just because I like the aesthetic. I don't know, I'm working in an academic library right now, so I feel like it just kind of, it fits the vibe. And so this one is one that I've been meaning to get into. Don't know too much about it. It kind of, I think if I recall, it feels very like Hunger Games-y meets like Wizarding School. So we will see how that goes. Yeah. This one. So What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. It, to me, was marketed as like, I think it was like The Mummy meets Indiana Jones or something like this, with like a spice of romance or a splash of romance. And I'm kind of like, I think this will be another light one. It'll be an easy one. Like, I'll be able to power through it pretty quickly. But yeah, I really enjoyed the classic, you know, honk your horn if you also would rather be watching the 1999 The Mummy starring Brendan Fraser. Like, I am totally one of those people. I don't have that bumper sticker, but like, that would be really cool. So yeah, I intend to read this one fully this year. Okay, so pile number 3. I can see that we're like 9 minutes into this rant. So, and this isn't all of them. This is just, these are the ones that are like, I need to at least this year get these ones done. So Squire is a book that I keep running into. Every other bookstore I go into, it tends to be put up front. I happen to go to, what's it called? Mosaic Books in Kelowna, which is this lovely, really large bookstore. And they had it on clearance because they had overstocked. And so I fully intend to read this one. It's a beautiful graphic novel with illustrations, just really pretty, full color, and it covers some very serious content. Again, like the other graphic novel I'm reading, Ducks, because for whatever reason right now when I'm reading graphic novels, I choose to pick the heavier ones. So yeah, that I intend to read. There's a pile of books that just collapsed on my floor. Anyways, One Dark Window, Rachel Gillig. I totally intend to read this one because it has come with heavy recommendations that if I love fantasy and I love like the Game of Thrones kind of verses and I want like a compelling fast-paced story, this is what I should read. So it's on there. I'm hoping it will be fast-paced, which means I'll fly through it. The last time I read a book that was like marketed to me as fast-paced fantasy was Liza Locke Lamora, and I really enjoyed the first one of that series. It felt very Ocean's 11, which was super, super fun. But the sequel to like Liza Locke Lamora didn't really jive so well, so I'm hoping that this series goes better. I know there's a sequel already out to it, which thank God I haven't bought yet because it would just take up more space, and I, number one, live in an apartment, can't have too many books taking up space. Number two, like, it would just add to my pile of shame. So, One Dark Window. Kind of in vibe with heading to Greece and, like, getting my head in the, like, Grecian, frame, is, Medea, by, looks like Eilish Quinn, if I pronounced that right. So Medea is a play that I read back when I was in high school, and it is a woman who murders her children and I think also her husband, and she is like the ultimate like female villain, like non-redeemable. Like this woman is like bad out of hell, possessed, right? This book apparently breaks down the like why she totally snapped. So I'm curious because, like, I don't think you can redeem a character that has gone and done terrible, terrible things. But I also am curious to read a book that talks about Medea and gets into her headspace a little bit. And just, like, as a little bit of a psychological thriller, like, let's go. I did glance through the first couple pages, and I know, like, prophecy plays a role where she is told that this is what's going to happen and, like, doesn't believe it and, like, has this whole, like, no way. So, yeah, just curious to see where it goes. It's, you know, Greek inspired. There's, you know, I think a few other books that I could put on this list where I could go back and read some, like, Hades and Persephone smut, or I could go and read, like, any other classical text and just get my mind in the Aristotelian frame, if that's what I prefer to do. But, yeah, Medea seems like a good one. I don't know. Next is Powerless. I know nothing about this book. It is a TikTok famous. It was gifted to me. It sounds like it's doing really, really well. Everybody who goes into reading it is like, oh, it's this author, I think Lauren Roberts, if I recall, she's only like 19 and writing this book. So, you know, kudos to her for doing that. But yeah, everyone I've heard of that's read this book has been like, oh, I have low expectations for it, and comes out going, that book was great. So I'm like, great. I'm hoping it's a fast read. It's a little bit longer, but yeah, we'll see. Next is Crying in H Mart. I've been meaning to read this one for a long time. It's just been, like, guilting me. It is dealing with loss and sadness and tragedy. And it's going to be a cathartic one for me. Yeah, so in the inside it says, a powerful story of family, food, grief, and love. Which to me just sounds really interesting too. I think what probably originally caught my eye is that I love to cook, and I think that family dinners are an interesting setting to place grief within. So I think that could be very powerful and well done. So yeah, interested in this one. Crying in H Mart. Almost done, I promise. So this was gifted to me. I was told that this is a lot like Fourth Wing, except this is an already done trilogy called Fireborn, which I think has the same kind of structure where it's like corrupt society, dragon riders take on corrupt society, bring down the establishment, so cool, sounds fun. I'll probably really enjoy it. I just need to sit my ass down and read it. So yeah, I keep forgetting to read the author names, but this is Rosaria Munda. I just like how edgy the back is. Today it begins. Today we will rise. Just to me, I'm just like, so edgy. Let's go. Let's bring it down. Very fun. Finally, the last book, which should be like a rocket fast read. Like I'll probably read it in like an afternoon. This is How You Lose the Time War. Daniel Green reviewed this one, and I was immediately like, oh, that sounds so good. I have to get it. So I got it. And now I can't watch Daniel Green anymore because I just, again, acquiring books based on like someone recommending them that I respect their opinions is just like, don't do it. But yeah, so this is How You Lose the Time War. It kind of, when I was like flipping through it, it has an interesting like Orwellian vibe to it. So I'm very curious like how those themes are kind of played on. In the ashes of a dying world, Red finds a letter marked "Burn before reading." So yeah, I'm just excited about it. And it looks like this was 2 people had written it. So Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. So yeah, sounds fun, sounds promising, and again, hopefully I can just power through it. I might literally, I think to get myself out of this slump, I might actually start with this one just to kind of like get through them really quickly and get the move on that way. But if anybody has any recommendations about how to break a reading slump, I am here for it because, whoo boy, am I in one. But yeah, that's all I got. I got to get ready for work and head out the door. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to me just tangentially go on for nearly 20 minutes. So that's 20 minutes you're never getting back.